The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
When Jim Rutherford gets the itchy trigger finger, you know someone's got to go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a sports reporter for Daily Hive, joined as always by Kyle Bhawan. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. Kyle, I hate being right about things, but I did get this one right. The Vancouver Canucks' first player to be traded this season would be Quinn Hughes. I don't like when I get predictions right sometimes, especially when it involves trading the best player in franchise history, but that's in the past. Let's look towards the future. And you know that more trades are going to happen for the Vancouver Canucks this season. So I think the question I want to ask off the bat here is, who is the next guy to go? I also want to dive deeper into Conor Garland. Is he a must trade, or is this a guy that could stick around for the Vancouver Canucks? I also want to touch on Cootsy later on in the show as well, because he's making the Canucks look pretty smart. We need more of those W's. But Kyle, let me throw it to you first. First off, how you doing, man? Looking forward to seeing you in the flesh tonight. And who are the Canucks trading next off of their team here?
Oh, man, great question at the end, but let's talk about meeting you in the flesh, okay? A couple beers. Why not? Head back to the studio, private DJ sesh for just Trevor. That's what homies do now. Talk about life, couple high fives. You know that, and you know what? The rest is private, okay? No, just saying, Right, Trevor. Let's not go there. Heated. Right. We haven't talked about that. There's actually a show on, like a bromance turned romance in the hockey world on Crave.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just at the Daily Hive. We were having a little Christmas lunch here, and people were just talking about it. I haven't watched it yet. I have heard about it, but maybe something to dive into.
Well, maybe tonight. Maybe tonight we'll get drunk and watch all 8 episodes. Okay, you know what? Okay. Who's getting traded next? I think the obvious one is Evander Kane. You know what I'm saying? I think a 5th round pick, a 7th round pick, a $50 gift card to Catches Club. That's all it takes to get Evander Kane off this team. All jokes aside, let's have more of a productive conversation about this. Is there a world where they can get like a 3rd round pick for him? Like, does Evander Kane score 3 goals in his next 4 games and they can ship him off for, again, a 3rd round pick? Maybe.
I think there's a chance of it, Kyle, and I also think there's also the chance that the Vancouver Canucks retain salary here.
Whoa.
That could be another thing where the Canucks boost the trade value on Evander Kane. So, look, this is a guy who's performed well in the playoffs before. Even last season, after missing the entire regular season, he still had a pretty good postseason for the Edmonton Oilers. I know it gets overshadowed by, a lack of discipline, a lack of scoring in the Stanley Cup Finals, but considering he missed the whole year, he was pretty damn good in the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers at points in the postseason. And Kyle, I agree with you. Like, when I look at guys on this roster, Evander Kane is easily the guy that comes to mind in terms of who's going to be traded next, right? Teddy Blueger and Derek Forbort are obvious candidates, but they've played a combined 4 games this season. Like, you need those guys to get back and show that they can stay healthy before you can really extract any trade value from them. I think David Kampf's another guy that could be a trade option, but is anyone going to give up something for David Kampf? I think you might be lucky to get a 7th round pick for David Kampf. But Evander Kane, look, he's got the resume, I guess, if you want to call it that, of being a playoff performer, a guy that has the prototype of someone who plays well in the playoffs, who's tough and hits. And we haven't seen any of that in Vancouver unless someone goes after Evander Kane himself. But for me, right now, he's a blockade to some of the younger guys on this team, right? And the Canucks clearly are going in a direction of rebuilding. We ripped the team for, the Aatu Ratu stuff yesterday, but just the fact that, David Kampf and Evander Kane are playing ahead of guys like Aatu Ratu and Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, like, it doesn't make any sense. I got Liam Ogren here. He could lose a spot, if once Pettersson comes back as well. He's the most likely guy, I think, in my mind, to get scratched. having Evander Kane on this team doesn't make any sense. If there's a suitor for him, even if it's just a 4th round pick, just go make the deal. And I think for the Canucks as well, for me, if they can retain some salary here, because I looked it up earlier today, like there's 3 or 4 playoff teams right now that actually have the cap dollars to swallow this whole $5 million cap hit. You might have to retain salary, and that could be a way that the Vancouver Canucks can extract a bit of extra value as well.
Yeah, and I hope other GMs are not watching this, because I want to say this about Evander too. The fact that he's not physical at all puts a stamp on what Trevor just said. Like, he's getting in the way of other players getting minutes on a developing team that wants to rebuild. And if there's a I don't know, like a quote from the coach where it's like, oh yeah, but you need NHL pros and you need physical players to defend these young guys. It's like, no, Evander Kane has hit one player all season long. It was in game 2 against the Oilers behind their net. And look, something had to happen to him before he got mad enough to do something to the player. He got high stick before he went after again. I forgot the name of the defender. Absolutely crushed him. One of the hits of the year. But what the hell is he doing? Like, again, standing up for no teammates. For real. Like, he was on the ice when Hedl got hurt, too. Like, just doing nothing physically, nothing intimidating. 16 points in 32 games. Congratulations. But, yeah, if you're not defending the boys and adding, like, to the culture or, like, doing all that jazz and bringing the boys together and, being a vet and, again, camaraderie, if you're not oozing that, then get out of here. It's just the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, Evander Kane for me, that's my prediction for the next guy to get traded. But Kyle, some of the commenters, they got a different idea, man. Holy. This is something else, man. Shout out to all our commenters here on Locked On Canucks. Again, you can comment on YouTube Live or connect with us after the fact. Go join the Discord. Link in the bio. Cosmic Dragon saying, hopefully Demko is next to go. We need that top 3 pick. Kyle, I'm going to let my emotions get in the way on this one. I'm on team don't trade Thatcher Demko. Because like I said on yesterday's show, every dayers know, I want guys who want to be Vancouver Canucks. And Thatcher Demko has made it pretty clear, at least in the media, that he wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. And look, the Canucks aren't going to be bad forever. I certainly am of the mind that you limit his usage this season, like even go tandem with Lankinen. But man, oh man, like I want guys that want to be Canucks, and Thatcher Demko is one of the best. I do have my concerns about potentially the tank, but as we've kind of talked about this week, they had 32 shots in their last 2 wins against teams that aren't very good. New Jersey's ravaged with injuries. New York is a shell of what they used to be. I'm not too worried about Demko ruining the tank odds because I just don't think this team is all that talented right now.
Yeah, me too. And he's not going to start every game. Now he's going to start his 4th start in a row. It's confirmed tomorrow against the Islanders. Lankinen will get the Saturday start. But again, he's not starting every game. Kevin Lankinen has been pretty bad all season long. This team's not really good. Like, I don't think he's going to ruin the tank ultimately. And yeah, I know people want McKenna and Stenberg. And dude, I want a top 2 pick. I want a number 1 pick, to be honest. I want the pick of the litter. But I feel like the Canucks are destined to be like drafting in the top 5, and there's a lot of good players this year. And Trevor, like, I wonder if there's a chance that, like, when there's like 24 games left in the season, if they go to Demko and they're like, dude, rest up for next season, take care of the body. I know it's kind of weird to like look at like load management at that point in the season, but you never know. Like, get ready for next season. Because I guarantee, Trevor, and Demko won't answer this, and he'll probably stab you with his axe if you ask him this. He's probably playing through a little bit of something right now too, like a little bit of pain. He just strikes me as that type of guy, a guy that always comes back too early. And yeah, I can see this team shut him down early and to preserve the tank. I mean, I think that's why they're going to continue to employ Adam Foote as well. The next guy who I think is going to get traded probably, and this may surprise you, because I feel like there's a 10% chance the Canucks may like surprise us and sign Kiefer Sherwood to a contract extension, but it is Kiefer Sherwood. But I doubt that we're getting a 1st-round pick in return. Because I keep hearing that, and I'm like, am I just being an asshole to Kiefer and saying he's not worth that much? Or am I not just looking at the NHL landscape and looking at the fact that, A, Kiefer Sherwood is an outlier, and on top of him being an outlier, there's just not a lot of UFA UFAs available this year via trade that is on pace for 25 goals. So what is it, Trevor?
Yeah, I love to put in the blue and green bias, blue and green glasses, and overvalue my guys, be biased. I think the only way the Canucks are extracting a first round pick for Kiefer Sherwood is if they attach something to that deal. Like, is it Sherwood in a fourth to get up into the first round of the draft? Something like that, which I'm not opposed to be honest. Like in a deep draft, go get as many first round picks as possible. I know we'll talk more about Conor Garland on the other side. I do think Kiefer Sherwood will be traded this season. I think there's enough playoff teams that are going to be interested in him. But when you hear the price of a good roster player and a first round pick, I don't think any team's giving up that for Kiefer Sherwood right now. And look, I've brought it up before, and every day know the Scott Lawton example from last year, right? Where Scott Lawton goes to Toronto along with a fourth. It was Philadelphia sent off, what was it, a fourth, a sixth, and Scott Lawton in return for a first round pick and Nikita Grebeshkin. If it's a return or a trade like that, where the Canucks are adding some mid to late round picks, then I could see them getting the first. Otherwise, I think that's probably a bit of a pipe dream.
Maybe it's Sherwood and Ratu for first.
Yeah, why does the team hate Ratu, man? They're leading scorer in the month of December. They're leading 5-on-5 point getter this season. Go check out yesterday's episode for a longer rant on that. It just makes no sense.
Can someone ask him? I know Thomas Drance is on the road. I know he's spending more time hating on Canucks fans for being preposterous on hating on Quinn Hughes. But can somebody ask Ratu? Not Aatu. Well, actually, I do talk to Ratu. Ask him how he's feeling. Ask him if he knows why he's being scratched. But ask Adam Foote, like, what's going on here? What's going on here? And that's that. I want to bring this up now. This is a surprise, but I wonder if the Canucks are trading Ratu next. For real. Like, I wonder if he is one of those guys where it's like, okay, maybe we'll swap him for another 23-year-old center that's not getting a lot of minutes.
I like, what's the point? I mean, I see where you're coming from, because when you've healthy scratched a guy without Elias Pettersson in the lineup for multiple games in a row, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I can see Ratu being pissed about it, and he should be pissed about it. I'm pissed about it. Here I am talking about it from the other side of the country right now, as the Canucks are in the Eastern U.S. I hope they don't trade Ratu. I don't think you're going to get a ton of value, but Kyle, like you said, it's been reported on before. This guy was nearly traded for Marco Rossi in the summer, right? So I think it's conceivable he could get traded. I wouldn't bet on it, but I certainly think it's an option. I do wonder a lot about Conor Garland. Will the Canucks trade or keep in? Let's dive a bit into that on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel, baby. And man, oh man, I forgot about this. My Seahawks are playing the game of the year tonight. I gotta try to watch this somehow, man.
Oh wow!
The Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams, playing down in Seattle tonight. The Seahawks 1.5 point favorites at home. That usually means the Rams are slightly favored. Usually it's that 3-point bump you get for playing at home. Man, oh man, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a bad Seahawks fan. I picked against my Seahawks in this one. I think the Rams are a better team. I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. But hey, either way, it's a win-win. My Seahawks win or I win on FanDuel. And whether you're betting on NFL, NHL, whatever it is, go check out FanDuel. They got the live in-game bets, the same game parlays. Those are my daughter's favorite. You can go check it all out on FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today.
People, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is the second best dad in the world who hasn't done any Christmas shopping yet. I know that's the case because Trevor's a hardworking guy, busy guy, also addicted to the Canucks. And honestly, like, I feel like any father who follows the Vancouver Canucks should be, what's the word I'm looking for? He should be given the pass this year when it comes to like the lack of Christmas gifts or being unprepared with thoughtfulness because of the angst. I think that's the key word. I think that's the motto of the Vancouver Canucks, here to give you angst. Based on how much angst the Canucks have given us this year. Like, we've been like a lot of the fathers out here and some of the mothers too. Like, we've been through a lot this year, and just give us a break. You may be in the Christmas spirit, but we aren't. Yeah,
it's hard to be in the Christmas spirit as a Canucks fan, but the last few months have been a grind. obviously covering this team. It's a blessing, man. I don't want to complain too much, even though the Canucks suck. It's a blessing to be able to do this full time. It's a blessing to be able to do Locked On Canucks. Also trying to grow my my financial advising business. So, hey, if you're looking for someone to help you, link for that in the bio of this episode as well. So it's been a grind, man. But yeah, I have not gotten on my Christmas shopping yet. But hey, look, Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin are also busy, guys. Well, I mean, we don't know about Alvin, although we hear he's got a lot on his plate. But they made it obviously the biggest trade in franchise history just last week. And I do wonder if another big one's going to come up with Conor Garland. And, Kyle, for me, it makes all the sense in the world to trade Conor Garland. He's going to be 30 in March. I know they just signed him to that 6-year extension. But when the Canucks are going to compete, what's Garland going to be? 33, 34? I don't want to turn this one around quickly. But maybe just handicap the odds for me. What are the odds that Conor Garland actually does get traded before this extension kicks in on July 1st?
I think 75%. And I think it has a lot to do with his competitive nature. Does he want to be around for this? His best friend just got traded off the team too. And again, his competitive nature is the key point here. Even look how he's played post-trade. He's been one of our best players. And again, that's not surprising because no matter what the instance is, when the puck drops, Conor Garland tries his hardest, and he's so skilled. We've been so, again, full of angst over the last week. Do you remember that play he made to Zeev Bouillon in New Jersey on Bouillon's first goal? That behind-the-back pass, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm jaded or blinded. That was a clean pass. I don't think it ricocheted off anyone before it went to Bouillon. It was just a highly skilled play, full of anticipation. And again, that's what you get with Conor Garland. Instinct, hustle, determination, such a good player. And you add all those things together, then you ask yourself, does he want to be part of a rebuild? Does he want to be part of a young team that's losing? He just came from Arizona and he's been a Canuck for 4+ years or whatever it is. And I don't know if he wants to go through all that. And I wonder if there's a team on the East Coast that will take him. I wonder if it is Columbus. I wonder if it is Boston. $6 million for Conor Garland, to me, especially in the beginning of that deal, that's a steal. That's a steal. He brings the effort. He sets the tone. He, again, highly skilled. He's able to play on your power play units. This is a guy you want in your team.
Yeah, and Kyle, I think it boils down to what are teams willing to give up for Conor Garland, right? Is he a guy that can get you a first-round pick?
I think
we're
so.
talking about, you would think so. I do wonder if other teams around the NHL, maybe are looking at his size, right? Or maybe they don't want to commit to him for the next 6 years, right?
Bro, you just brought up
move clause that kicks in.
You just brought up Scott Lawton. I know he plays center, but it's you packaged a couple other things for him, and you got a first-round pick out of the Maple Leafs. That was what? Was that a 2027 first round? No, the Boston has Toronto's first round pick, I think. One or the other, but you could get a first for Garland. I wonder if you could take Garland and go to other teams and be yo, we'll take your 2028 first round pick. No, for real. I wonder if you go down that route. You could get it done.
Yeah, and I think that would be a smart move. I don't see that being a move the Canucks want to make because, Kyle, they've kind of shown their cards. They want NHL players. They don't want this to be a 5-6 year rebuild. They want to win sooner rather than later. So, yeah, it would make sense to trade Garland for a 2028 first. I completely agree, man. Take a dart throw. Go for the lottery pick, man. Bet on a team that's not going to be very good or who you think has a chance to not be good. I don't see the Canucks going down that road, but I do think the Canucks are going to trade Conor Garland. I don't think it's a given. I almost think the odds are closer to 60% that he gets traded. I know a lot of people, I see Cosmin Drake in the comments saying 99% chance he gets traded. You're saying 75. The Canucks obviously like Conor Garland a lot. That's why they extended him in the offseason. I think they can envision him being a leader on this team moving forward.
I think they like him a lot, but
value for him.
Sorry, you're actually cutting out a bit. I did ask the commenters if you're lagging, so I apologize for talking over you there. But I think they also signed Conor Garland because they were just trying to impress Quinn Hughes. No, for real. Straight up. They were doing everything. They almost got Josh Norris for Philip Hedl. You know what I'm saying? You brought that up on a phone call 30 hours ago, right? And I think that's why they doubled down on giving Conor Garland that 6-year extension. For real. It had a lot to do with keeping Quinn Hughes, hiring Adam Foote, keep Quinn Hughes. You know, Thatcher Demko, like $8.5 million for one leg. Hey, Quinn Hughes, people want to stay here. That's just Brock Besser. You know, let's circle back on you. Yeah, I think a big reason why they didn't trade Suter and Besser last year at the trade deadline was like, yeah, we want to convince Quinn Hughes we're here to win. But again, the team did nothing for Quinn Hughes, or the management failed him, which is partially true. But Quinn Hughes, again, he was already, dude, come on, he was halfway to the Illuminati the 2 years ago, for real. Anyways, I don't want to go P. Diddy over here, but where am I going with this? Garland's getting traded. And I think they can get a first from him, and that's just how you got to move. It's gonna hurt. It's like, imagine how bad the Canucks are gonna be when they trade Garland. Like, who's gaining the zone? Like, you lost Quinn Hughes, who could do it by himself, and then you lost Conor Garland, who could do it himself. Conor Garland is better at gaining the zone than Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, and it's been that way for a while now, Kyle. I mean, look, I agree. I think Conor Garland should be traded, especially if you can get a first-round pick. I don't think that's a given, but if you can get a first-round pick for Conor Garland,
I don't know.
Appreciate Conor Garland. Thanks for your time. Let's build for the future. Let's ruin the short-term prospects of this team, because drafting high is what matters most right now.
How does Washington give up a second-round pick for Beauvillier, and we can't get a first for Conor Garland? Is it because the $6 million is a lot of money, Trevor? Like, what is it? Like, we have to get a first for Garland.
I think it's when you look at the likelihood of first-round picks making it to the NHL versus second-round picks making it to the NHL, it's a pretty drastic drop-off. So, like, there is an extra premium placed on guys when you're trading a first-round pick for him. I mean, that's your most prime draft capital, right? Even if you're a good team. So it's, again,
True.
I don't think it's a given. I hope I'm wrong. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Conor Garland will get traded before the end of this season? Go ahead, bud.
I got one more thing, because I was listening back to yesterday's episode, which I never really do, but somebody was like, oh, somebody made me listen to it, right? And I listened back to it, and I was like, oh, wow, like I was going in on Conor Garland, calling him a grumpy dude and whatnot. And I did circle back to the point as well, like, oh, Trevor, am I being too harsh on him? Do you view Conor Garland as a leader, on like a good leader? Like, does he have potential to do all that?
Yeah, I do view him as a good leader. Like, even if he comes off a little grumpy in the media, like I do think he's a good leader. I think he's an ultra competitor, right? So when the times aren't good, I'm not sure if Conor Garland's the guy that comes in there and brings the good vibes, but hey, you got Jake DeBrusk and Tyler Myers for that, I guess. But I do think Garland's a good leader, right? He's a guy, like I said before, every day he's out there in the community, being involved. I think he's a smart guy as well. So yeah, I do think he's a good leader on this team, but that's something that I'll keep in my back pocket as a reporter to try to see if some of the younger guys, name check Conor Garland as a guy who's a leader on this team. Speaking about the future leaders in the Vancouver Canucks, let's shout out one of them on the other side. Maybe we'll go swimming in the ocean as well. That's coming up next year on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to it, baby, let's shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. Man, oh man, that's what Kyle and I are doing tonight, man. We're budgeting for the future, a few brewskis deep, but we can feel confident about doing a good job because we got Monarch on our side. If you want to keep those finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch. And don't just listen to me, because Monarch is rated the Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings together your entire financial life in one clean, simple dashboard. And it's great for couples, Kyle. Time to celebrate the holidays with your girlfriend by using Monarch together. Link your accounts, share dashboards, shared goals, and fewer, wait, how much did we spend? Conversations. There we go, man. Ease your stress, improve the lovemaking. Boom, bam, la-di-da with Monarch. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
People, we back doing this, and that's reading your comments here on Locked On Canucks. Mike Laval saying we should go after Toronto's 2028 first-round pick. Toronto, a little desperate, man. maybe they'll want Garland. Maybe they'll want Sherwood, right? You never know. You never know. Speaking of all that, can we run this segment called What the Puck? Because I have some other hockey stuff I want to talk to you about.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
Ito, this WAS a Canucks show.
Okay, I love comparing Toronto and Vancouver to each other, okay? Hockey hotbeds, haven't won in forever. So much to the point where it's like, yeah, the Vancouver Canucks haven't won a Stanley Cup, but like, have the Toronto Maple Leafs have they won the Stanley Cup? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 1967, did that year even existed? Like, wasn't that where like the dinosaurs were still around at that time? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? If you ask ChatGPT if the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, it would say no. Like 1967, there was 2.5 teams in the league. Anyways, Austin Matthews, I think it was last night or the night before, he was getting like, you know, a couple boo birds for the Maple Leafs throughout that game, where they weren't doing much against the Chicago Blackhawks, I believe. Again, the ACC, is it still called that? I don't think so. Scotiabank Place or whatever. They're booing the Maple Leafs, and then Austin Matthews scores a goal, and he puts his hand to his ears, and you know, asks the crowd to get louder. You know, he's kind of like, I don't, you know, being an athlete, you know, you're competitive even against your own fans, I guess. But you know, he's you know, practically saying we're the boo birds now. How do you feel about that? And do you think there's a world where Elias Pettersson and Austin Matthews could be traded for each other?
Oh, no, I think Pettersson would have to be a lot better than what he is right now to make a trade like that possible. Maybe if it gets towards the end of Matthews' contract and, you know, there's inclination he's not going to re-sign there. But I still think if you're at that point and you're the Maple Leafs, like, why are you trading for a 29-year-old Elias Pettersson, right? Like that, because that's going to be around the time his contract expires, I believe, right? So I don't think a trade like that's a reality. You know, that being said, the heat is on Austin Matthews in Toronto. Like, you know, obviously got to cover things nationally a bit more for Daily Hive here, and I've been keeping an eye on this. And there's a lot of Leaf fans that are not happy with Austin Matthews right now, and it is a very, how do I describe it, tepid relationship between Austin Matthews and the fans right now, and so it should be, right? You know, Mitch Marner gets not get traded. I guess he got traded in a sense. Mitch Marner leaves, and you're like, okay, we got rid of a guy who's not good in the postseason. Let's like build out our roster and be deeper. They suck this year. They suck. And a big part of that is Austin Matthews at the top of the food chain. Doesn't really look like he's putting the effort or really cares all that much on a lot of nights.
Trevor, I think, again, I don't watch, and we're going to talk about the Canucks now, but I don't watch a lot of Maple Leafs games. But why I draw the comparison between Pettersson and Matthews, even though Matthews is way more accomplished, right? Individually speaking, like way more, is because like over the last like year and change, and this is kind of picked up for Pettersson when it comes to like his NHL edge data, but supposedly like Matthews is either playing through an injury or something, because like the shot speed has slowed down. His foot speed has slowed down like significantly, you know, where you can only point at, you know, something biologically happening where he's unable to do the same things as an athlete. And, you know, again, not that long ago, you know, we're doing the same thing with Pettersson, right? We're saying, oh, look at his NHL edge data. His foot speed per 27 minutes while wearing yellow laces is 3 kilometers less than the miles he was pushing out the year before, you know? So there is a comparison there. Anyways, next comment. Oh man. That Blackua 7 is saying Conor Garland is an angry elf. And Calvin is saying we should trade Garland and Forbert for Nikita Zadorov. I would take Nikita Zadorov back on this team prior to next season, just for the good vibes, man. Just for a good interview in that room. Look, I think the ship has sailed there, and it's too bad because I think, you know, we've talked about it this week, right? Especially when it has Seth Tupal on, Locked On Wild. Go check out that episode if you haven't already. Great insights on the new guys the Canucks just acquired. I mentioned in that episode that, you know, the Horvat trading was the big downfall of this organization, but another smaller one was them letting Zadorov walk. Absolutely, he was a key player for this team, but that's in the past. I do want to talk about something that's more in the future, and you know, the Vancouver Canucks have gotten a lot of things wrong over the past little bit. We all know that, but one thing they seem to have got right was drafting Braden Cootes at 15th overall, and this is what you need to do in the draft.
if you plan to get back into Stanley Cup contention, is be better at the draft table than your competitors. And look, I know it's, not even, is it 6 months since the NHL draft? Like, not a lot of time has passed. But Braden Coots selected 15th overall. He's going to make Team Canada. Interesting to me, at least, that 4 guys selected ahead of Braden Coots in 2025 were left off the Canadian World Junior team, right? You're talking about guys that were theoretically supposed to be better than Braden Coots who aren't making this World Junior team. And I'm going off the top of my head, but Jake O'Brien selected 8th overall by the Seattle Kraken. He was cut from the team. Jackson Smith, defenseman, selected by the Columbus Blue Jackets. He was picked 1 pick ahead of Braden Coots. He was left off the team. And then 2 other guys, Roger McQueen, who's healthy and playing in the NCAA, but obviously battled a lot of injuries over the past couple of years. He was left off the team. And then finally, Jack Nesbitt of the Philadelphia Flyers also left off the team. He didn't even make the invitation camp. And ironically, Jack Nesbitt picked 12th overall. That was the Canucks. That was the pick that the Canucks had for like 2 hours before they traded to Marcus Pettersson. The reason he ended up in Philly, for those who don't know, is Pittsburgh traded down in the first round and Philly traded up to get Jack Nesbitt. But I think just a feather in the cap for the Canucks that they picked a guy in Braeden Cootes at 15th overall who's impressed this season in the WHL, played some NHL games, has now made Team Canada, and 4 guys drafted ahead of him have been left off the team. So kudos to the Canucks and Braeden Cootes on that.
Holy Trevor, man. Yo, signed Alvin to a 5-year extension right now, dude. Who needs Luongo as the new GM? We're doing it. All in all, though, Braeden Cootes, great selection. I just good old Canadian guy, Western Canadian guy, good old this, good old that. Knows a thing or two about Shoppers Drug Mart, right? Come on. I like Braeden Cootes, next captain of your Vancouver Canucks. I'm sorry, I'm turning into Don Cherry. Okay, Donald Bowen. No, I want a Canadian to be the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, okay? I bring that up because we got to swim in the ocean and bring this up. Oh, where did I think I might have... Anyways, Thomas Drance wrote an article about everything Zeke Bouillon and everything Quinn Hughes on The Athletic. Like, when I say everything Quinn Hughes, like, go read the article. Thomas Drance, one of the best in the game. Again, like, in my opinion, doing a wonderful job filling the shoes of Jason Botchford. For real. Like, big Thomas Drance fan. All in all, he did call me preposterous today. Not by name, but, again, singling out all the Canucks fans who have turned their back on Quinn Hughes this quick. And to that, I don't want to say sorry. It is what it is. We can feel any way we want to feel about a team that has barely won, especially when Quinn Hughes was a part of this team. That being said, again, go read the article because there's a huge timeline on Quinn Hughes' whole career and how inevitably the organization did fail him, okay? All in all, though, look at this. Thomas Drance said this at the end of the article. When the time comes, a decade and more into the future, after Hughes has hung up his skates, Vancouver should at least put him in the Ring of Honor and should strongly consider retiring his number 43 all together. So let's end the episode on this. Okay, Trevor, are you retiring Quinn Hughes' number 10, 15 years from now? Well, I guess like 15 years from now when he retires.
No, I'm not.
Too. Yeah.
And I've talked about this before, even with the whole Luongo debate. I feel like the Canucks organization as a whole has been too lenient with the numbers they retire. Rewarding teams and players that never won in the city. I mean, the Canucks made the playoffs once in the Quinn Hughes era, not counting the bubble playoffs in 2020, which I count to an extent. But really, they made the playoffs one time for real in the Quinn Hughes era. Look, he's undoubtedly the best Canucks defenseman in team history by a mile. But I still would not be retiring his number. Just too much losing in Vancouver. The fact that he wanted to trade out of town. I mean, look, it's the argument is Pavel Bure is up there, right? But at least with Bure, even though he wanted out of the city, the Canucks still won the Cup Finals and nearly won with Bure on that team. I think that's the differentiator there. And the other guys up there, like the Sedin twins, like Linden, like Naslund, they were dying to be Vancouver Canucks, no matter what the circumstances looked like. And you didn't have that with Quinn Hughes.
100%. Like, lack of playoff appearances, lack of playoff success. I think Bure and Hughes are comparables, though, because if you look at Pavel Bure's goal per game across the board in NHL history, he's like near the top of the list. I'm pretty sure if you look at Quinn Hughes' point per game for defensemen that have played over 400 games, in the defenseman category. Like he's probably near the top of the list, right around Cale Makar and Bobby Orr and company. So again, remarkable players, once in a lifetime type guys. We're probably never getting another guy like Quinn Hughes. Again, worth the price of admission, but too early in his career, he just did not bleed blue and green. And again, just being named captain and 2 years later, just having a foot out the door and again, looking towards joining the Illuminati, aka the New Jersey Devils and all that stuff, like thinking about your biological brothers, which again, it's cool, but thinking about them more so than the Warriors that you play with every night while being the leader, that's just not good enough. And it could be preposterous for somebody like me to like turn their back on somebody so quickly. Cause again, he was just, you look at the things I've been saying about Quinn Hughes since he got here. Dude, me and Trevor had a hockey show on YouTube called We Talkin' Hockey, where Trevor Beggs, 5 months before the Canucks even drafted Quinn Hughes, was like, yo, we got to draft Quinn Hughes. We've loved the guy for so long, but I'm more team Vancouver Canucks than I am more team Quinn Hughes. And at the end of the day, dude, I put more responsibility on the players than I do management. That I'm always going to be that way. I'm so sorry, because I want to cheer for guys that like make no excuses and keep their eye on the prize and not quit 25 games into the season when your whole team got injured more so than any other team. And was this team prepared to lose Filipino? No, they weren't. That's on them. Should this team have traded for Evander Kane? No shit. Hell no. That shouldn't have been like a priority over Pius Suter. Of course, you get that wrong, but you're the captain. Thatcher Demko goes down early, like all this stuff, and you're just quitting on the team way too early before the season even started. You're like, hire Adam Foote. But by the way, I'm not really fully into this. Like, I don't know, just rub me the wrong way. And yeah, there's no emotion on his way out too, man. Like part of me actually questions, like he probably cared a lot about his individual performance and he wanted to win really bad, but I wonder how much he actually cared about being a Vancouver Canuck. And the answer is not much. At the end of his life as a Canuck, he did not care a lot. And there was that quote from Tambier, passionate fan. The fans cared more about Quinn Hughes than Quinn Hughes cared about the fans. That is the truth.
You're spitting fire there, man. And, go drink some water as we end up this episode of Locked On Canucks. And yeah, I mean, Quinn Hughes, I don't like ring of honor at best for me. I don't think he's a guy that should have his number hanging in the rafters. But Kyle, I'm hanging your banner in the rafters at the Don'tos Art Lab there in South Van for your fiery takes. Freaking love you, man. And who I love even more than you is everyone listening here on Locked On Canucks. We appreciate the hell out of you for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, share the episode with a friend, a colleague, your mom, boom, bam. You can also join the Everydayers Club if you don't want to hear me do some ad reads. Go check out some ad-free episodes for a couple bucks a month. More link for that in the bio. On YouTube, go like the video, hit the goddamn like button, subscribe to the show as well. Helps it a lot. And finally, on the podcast side, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. We'll wrap up the week tomorrow here on Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs, and that guy's Kyle Bhawan. You've been listening to Locked On Canucks.